Hi, my name is Rakapanda. We are well on our way to 200 mil fire making. As of posting this video, we just passed 120 million experience and are aiming to be done sometime in mid to late September. Shortly after finishing, I'll be uploading a video covering 200 mil fire making. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss it. In the meantime, if you do find me on World 307, know that my entity hider is on and the public chat is off. I can only handle so much trolling, and they are really trying to outdo themselves this election year. This many hours of Wintertod is definitely testing my resolve, but it also makes the perfect opportunity to share some techniques I use to stay motivated. As well as writing the script and making this video gives me something to do between rounds and chopping broomer roots. These ideas are small things you can do to push yourself to keep going a little bit more and get you to your goals quicker. Please drop a like and leave a comment what you do to stay motivated on your old school grinds. Variety is the spice of life. Always have at least 3 pieces of content to cycle between. This can be applied to within a single day, or themed days throughout the week, or cycling between content as you get drops, like getting a purple from one raid and then moving on to the next, or something to that effect. This principle is why Slayer is the most favored skill among the player base. Despite it being one of the slowest skills to train, it offers variety inherently. For myself, I've used this principle extensively over the years. While I was maxing, I would send an Inferno attempt in the morning, train one skill in the afternoon, and a different skill on mobile at night. During the Corp grind, I would kill 20 in the morning, do chambers in the afternoon, and skill or slay in the evening. After Corp was finished, I replaced it with Nex, and then it became general pet hunting. The afternoon chambers turned into CMs, then duo and 2+1 CMs. The evenings have been the most spontaneous, including just not playing RuneScape some nights. And speaking of, take breaks from the game. RuneScape isn't the only game out there, as well as don't neglect real life, especially friends and family. RuneScape will still be here when you get back. If you are taking an extended break from the game, especially if you're doing so due to burnout, when you return, do not immediately go back into the activity you were doing before you left. There's a reason you decided to take an extended break in the first place. Odds are, there have been several updates to the game since you left. I would encourage you to skim through the list of polls since you left. At the very least, it'll give you the highlights of the changes that have happened or will be happening soon, without getting overwhelmed by the countless blogs covering the endless minutia during your absence. You don't need to binge every minor change before you can get back into the game. You'll absorb the finer details as you encounter them over time. Similarly, just because there is an update does not mean you need to drop everything you were doing to participate in the update. You do not have to do content on release. More than likely, the content is broken anyway, either incomplete or going to be rebalanced and fixed or tweaked in the coming weeks. Remember, waiters always win. Unless you hear that the content is broken in a good way, like if combat achievements are being too lenient or drop tables are too good and going to get nerfed soon, in which case, abuse early, abuse often should be your mantra. The main idea behind breaks and anti-breaks is don't force it. If you don't feel like doing an activity or even playing the game at all, don't. It's a game, not a job. It should be fun and engaging, and you should be doing what you want to be doing. Yes, there are some activities that aren't as engaging as others and can feel like a chore, but usually there's a good reason or reward for working through that lackluster content. So try focusing on that instead of the activity itself. Join a clan that hosts regular events including bingos. Bingos specifically can provide you with that little bit of an extra incentive to take on a boss or an activity that you want to do but won't for some reason. It can give you an excuse to hunt a pet you like but don't necessarily need the boss's drops anymore, or it has low GP loot and so deemed not worth your time. It can be an excuse to collection log that wyvern visage after all this time. Bingos are also a good way to meet and group up with new people and expose yourself to different strategies or viewpoints. Bingos and other clan events are an example of an overlapping goal that I mentioned in the Plan for Success video. Not only are you hunting something you want, but you're contributing to a team effort that probably has some GP on the line. And you don't want to let your team down now, do you? Your fellow clan members can also be a point of inspiration for you. I can't tell you how many times I'd see people with less gear and less stats succeed at high-level PVM I was struggling with, which hinted to me that it wasn't a gear issue holding me back, but a skill issue. If you have better skilled players around you, learn from them. Don't be afraid to ask questions, although please make sure the question isn't easily found on the wiki first. In general, experienced players are more than willing to teach you if you're ready and willing to listen. We want more players to do content with. It's a lot easier to form a team if you have a large pool of content doers. If you're looking for a social PvM clan, the clan I'm currently in is Kingdom. We host at least 6 events every month, ranging from PvM competitions like bingos, fun events like Dark Centipede or PvP Volcano, and also raid lure events to teach newcomers the basics of raiding. Alongside the scheduled events, we have a monthly bounty system to hunt a few random items for rank up points, and each bounty will give you a chance at a bond during the giveaway at the end of the month. There's also a larger rolling bounty with a GP prize awarded to the first person to acquire their rare item. I'll leave a link in the description if you'd like to know more. Set small and achievable goals. Achieving smaller goals gives you the regular wins your brain needs to feel like it's making good progress. If, by contrast, you start out each day with the attitude of, I'm going to get the super duper rare drop, and you don't in fact get the super duper rare drop, your brain tallies that as a failure for the day. If instead you say to yourself, I'm going to kill this boss 100 times today, and in parentheses to yourself, stopping early if I get the drop, then when you hit the 100 KC, you've at least accomplished your goal for the day. That little bit of dopamine hit does wonders for staying motivated. A key example of this for me is Calphite Queen. I did not like KQ all that much. I wanted the pet, but doing the boss was not fun. She'd hit like a truck, it was annoying to find an open world, and I would get crashed by normies far too often. An iron world is an open world, yup. So I made a deal with myself to do 50 KC per task. I told myself, it's only 2 hours, I can make it through that. After the 50, I would allow myself to finish the task by killing the Calphite workers with expeditious bracelets and move on to a more fun task. Over time, I got used to the boss. I upped the 50 KC per task to 100 KC per task. They separated iron and normie instances, so finding a world and the crashing were no longer issues. Then after getting the blue cares and the shadow, I started doing full extended tasks, and even off-task KQ during bingos. KQ went from a boss that I couldn't stand to a boss that I could enjoy. We got the pet at 5470 KC in large part because I met my many small goals of 50 per task over time. When I'm pursuing larger goals like 200 mils or going after RNG based drops like pets, I often look to milestones for a bit of extra motivation. Usually my play sessions are time based, spend a couple hours at a boss or activity, and as that time is nearing its end, I look for a good exit point. I like clean numbers that end in 0s or 5s, repeating numbers or other fun number sequences like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 3, 7. When skilling, I tend to push the experience number of that skill or my total experience to the next million if I can, or the next roundish number for the experience gained that session. And sometimes I look how close I am to the next virtual level. Occasionally, I'll glance at the high scores and note how close I am to gaining a rank, and if it's relatively close, I'll stick it out for a few more minutes to get it. These small pushes to go further add up to big gains over time. When playing RuneScape, I usually have content going on a second monitor that gives my fleeting attention something to engage with outside the game. This is a useful strategy to employ when doing pretty mundane tasks like agility or Wintertod. It's easy to run laps when you're more attentive to a good show on the side, and vice versa. RuneScape itself can be that second monitor content. I've done a lot of AFK training like Stars, Amethysts, and Redwoods while working on a project, like this video, or even playing another game. Last and probably most important strategy for staying motivated is you should use methods that work best for you, not what is deemed most efficient or worth or not worth. I get asked what's the best way to train X, and my response is whatever way you can stand doing the longest. My mindset on encouraging people to play efficiently has changed from you should do what's efficient to you should do what's efficient for you. I'm not saying that there aren't objectively higher efficient methods for doing stuff, but if that efficient method is unappealing, and after 10 minutes of doing high efficiency strategies you find yourself quitting, your resulting efficiency is 0. You will make more progress if you like a method that's only 70% efficient, but are willing to do it for hours, compared to a 100% EHP method that you hate. Don't like solo chambers? That's fine. Go find a group to run with. You don't have to learn solo to get purples. Don't like stockpiling KC just to die in small team next? That's fine, head to the mass world. You'll see drops eventually. These two are examples of what I ended up doing. Was it the most efficient? No, but it worked for me. We'll end the video with a bit of a story time from my early days of old school. I started playing right before mobile client came out in late 2018. Within a month or two of that, I decided to train runecrafting. I needed cosmic runes in bulk for Mage Training Arena. I had my eyes on 59 runecrafting for double cosmics. This predates Prif Dennis and the rune shop there selling cosmics, so crafting them was the only reliable way to get them at the time. I didn't have much pure essence, and because I'm playing in iron, I have to accumulate it myself. I knew from looking it up on the wiki that you could get some from mid to late game PVM sources, but having no experience with New Age PVM, I didn't think I was at that stage of the account yet. From what I remembered from RS2, there were essence mines you could go to and mine it. This predates Dale Essence. So I spent ages at the Wizard Guild mining and banking pure essence. During that process, I learned that ZMI was a good way to train runecrafting, as it offered the most experience per essence and a good variety of runes, including cosmics, natures, and law runes, all of which I would need for Mage Training Arena. ZMI is placed in a unique area. There's a short path lined with enemies that will attack you as you run to the altar. I was pretty low level at the time, and I did not want to risk dying there. Dying is a huge waste of time spent running back, so I opted to take the long, winding path for the consistency. I also did not have access to run energy pots yet, so for many levels, over many days on mobile, I walked the long, winding path between the bank and the broken altar. But you know what? It was the solution I came up with, and it got the job done in the end. After hitting 59 runecrafting, I made a few thousand cosmic runes, purchased the remaining law and nature runes I calculated I would need for MTA, and went on to fully greenlog MTA. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.